knowing that something could happen to him when he's gone for 3 weeks at a time. And we could see the fire. We have to evacuate. We have to leave. Our house was gone, and it was really hard just seeing her so upset, She just kept saying, it's everything we have, it's our whole lives. But the hardest part too, my little brother, he was really upset but didn't want to show it.
You go first.
You go first.
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
Okay, hey, I'll go first. Here we are on You Go First, another episode. We're going to do a short episode today with our guest, Miss Amy Lanski. Welcome, Amy. Awesome. All right, so we're in Chico, California. Amy's a recent transplant to here. She is a local news person, so she's in media, and she's a Division I volleyball player, grew up, I believe, in Southern California, and she's been covering the story about the launch of You Go First, and as long as she was in studio, we thought we'd have a quick interview with her. So, Amy, thanks for taking a little bit of time and being here. So let's just start with okay, I know you as Amy Lanski, media and reporter and all of that stuff, but tell us a little about where were you born? Where'd you grow up? What's your story look like in your family?
Yeah, so I was born in Southern California. I have two younger brothers. I love them more than anything. One is 18 months younger than me. The other one's 8 years younger. So my dad's a firefighter and my mom is a health teacher, but was a stay-at-home mom most of my life.
All right. So my father-in-law is a firefighter and my mother-in-law is a nurse. So those are special people. So tell us a little about who, of course, both of your parents probably inspired you, but sometimes the father-daughter relationship is special. Tell us about your dad as a firefighter and what's that mean to you growing up?
Yeah. Well, I've always said my dad's my hero. I think people, look at their parents as their heroes, but I look at my dad and he's, on holidays is working. We spent multiple Thanksgivings, Easters, other holidays with him at the fire station. And if they get a call, they're leaving in the middle of, our dinners and all that stuff, but also just saving lives in general and hearing stories growing up of, different calls he's gone on. And when I was younger, I didn't realize how dangerous of a career it was. I just looked at him as, he's so cool. He's a firefighter. And as I got older, I realized, it's a really dangerous job. And then that made me start to look at my mom as another one of my heroes, as such a strong woman and just so inspirational to be able to be home with us knowing that something could happen to my dad, and she's really just incredible to be able to do that and take care of us knowing that something could happen to him when he's gone for 3 weeks at a time. And she's there and, we're crazy. And, she's really just, she's turned into my hero. But that father-daughter relationship's it's really special and different. We've gone through a lot and grown a lot. And I have a really special relationship with my dad.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're in Chico and I know you covered your new transplant to Chico as a newscaster. You came here and you jumped right into covering the fire up in Paradise and all of that stuff. We're coming up on the 1 year. And I know, we focus on Paradise and Paradise Strong, but I know fire, not only your dad being a firefighter, but how fire impacted your life in Southern California. So maybe tell us a little about that.
Yeah, so in 2017, December 5th was the Thomas Fire, and that's actually my dad's birthday. I was down at home for that, and I was coaching. We were down at the state tournament, and the night of December 4th, my mom and I were at the station with my dad, celebrating his birthday a little bit, and they got a call. They had to go on a fire. And so we left. We left. My mom and I were driving back, and we could see the fire. And I called my dad. Oh, is it close, to us? And we live in Ventura. We live up on the hill. And he's like, no, it's so far away right now. You guys are going to be fine. I got home. My cousin was living with us at the time and my little brother, who was 16. And I went to sleep maybe I don't remember, maybe 9-ish. And I woke up within 15 minutes. I was, kind of half asleep. And I hear my mom kind of freaking out on the phone. And I was like, are you okay? What's wrong? And she said, we have to evacuate. We have to leave. Right now, they're about to make it mandatory. And I was like, what? And so, I just started grabbing pictures because it's crazy because my mom's parents lost their house in the Laguna fires a long time ago. So we have no pictures of my mom as a child. So I just we've evacuated one other time and I instantly just started grabbing pictures. My little brother was up on the roof taping up the vents to try and prevent, ashes from getting in. And then I got my cat. She was luckily inside because, they kind of run away. So I grabbed her, grabbed the dogs, threw everything in the car. I looked at this huge picture frame that my dad had made my mom when we were younger. It's of all of my little brother and I, we're close to the same age. And I looked at it, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to pack that up. I don't want to put that back out tomorrow. It's so big, it's huge. And we evacuated, and my mom called all of our neighbors, so they were able to grab some stuff too. We left. We had a one-way in, one-way out situation. So before they made it mandatory, we left because it was a lot of people trying to get out. And we evacuated once, and then we got a call. We had to evacuate again. The power was out for the whole city. All I could hear was, ambulances, just sirens, pretty much, and helicopters. And then we had to evacuate again because where we were at, they had to evacuate. So then I just remember thinking, where are we going to go now? The next place is the beach, and, and the freeways are packed and there's no power anywhere. And we watched it from the second story of this house. It was another firefighter wife and her family. I think I stayed up till probably 4 a.m. that morning, fell asleep for maybe 30 minutes when I heard the phone ring, and it was a house phone. I was like, no one has house phones, this is crazy. And my first thought is something's happened to Chris or my dad. They're good friends. And I'm like, Michelle, like, what was that? It was a boil water advisory. And then I hear my mom crying, and my dad had texted her that, our house is gone. And it was really hard just seeing her so upset, and looking at, her and my dad kind of built everything themselves. So she just kept saying, it's everything we have, it's our whole lives. But my dad was okay. So to me, that was, he was safe. And he actually had an incident on that fire where the winds turned and they kind of got caught. And so, I think that morning when we found that out, and he stayed on the fire for like a day and a half. And then they finally forced him, like, you need to go be with your family. So the hardest part too, my little brother, he was really upset, but didn't want to show it that, like, being a teenage kid. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing. It's a tender spot for all of us up here, and of course in Southern California. And knowing that you share that with us as a media person locally, and it brings me to just like now that you're in Chico. How long have you been in Chico?
Well, I've been here since April.
Yeah, so not that long. And what are some of your favorite things about this place? Of course, we share something with the impact of fire, but now that you're here and kind of finding your way, I know you're a volleyball person. You're doing some coaching here locally,
and I love doing that.
That sounds cool. So
I love doing that. I just love being back in California. I moved to Wyoming for a year after the fire, and it was great. But it was, I like being in California. I have a lot of family in Northern California. My parents are back in their new home, but Chico in general, it's just really great. Sometimes it is hard covering fire stuff, but I also have met some just incredible people along the way, and I'm able to share my story with them, and they're able to share their story with me. And it's a little bit of a healing process in a lot of different ways, and just being able to feel like I can make a difference here is one of the most special things about Chico. Is I feel like I'm actually making a difference in Chico, and the food here is fantastic. Sierra Nevada is like, I'm there all the time.
Nevada, excellent restaurant. And of course, a lot of amazing things. I know you're here today covering the You Go First podcast, and we've had this global impact, and Sierra Nevada is, around the world. If you've traveled, you see, oh wow, pale ale and all that. So many amazing things coming out of Chico. And we're happy to have you here, going first for our community, to tell the story, to tell the good stories, to tell the hard stories. What's maybe the hardest story that you've covered, and what was maybe the best story that you've covered, if you can think of that?
The best story for sure was Victoria Sinclair moving into her home in Paradise. I covered her for a little bit of when they broke ground. It was the first house to break ground. They're the first ones to move in. And I've built a really special relationship with her of, covering her stuff. So that was easily the best. It was just so happy. It was so exciting. Also reuniting a burn victim with the firefighters that saved her was really incredible. I think the hardest things to ever go on are just car crashes, and seeing some stuff that, I'm not prepared to see, And so I think I've gone on a couple of car crashes that have just really sunk in it takes a few days for them to sink in, and, it kind of messes with you a little bit. So. Yeah.
Well, I know that being in the public eye, social media, I hope we put this on your Facebook or Instagram or whatever ways you put it out there. Yeah. And I know sometimes after stories, you may get like, oh, we love Amy. And some people are like, oh, what's going on? So how does that feel when the social media starts blowing up? People go first to like insult or like give their opinion of you as a newscaster. How is that?
I think it's really hard. I don't have Instagram. It's something that I just
Whoa,
don't.
okay.
I just don't use it.
Okay.
But I do have a Facebook, and being a reporter on Facebook is really hard because, you know, you get people that just, they don't like you and you just have to accept it. It is what it is. You know, you don't like me. That's really not my problem. That's your own issue. I'll work on the things that you suggest. You want to give me constructive criticism? I'd love to hear it. And I'll definitely work on it. But at the same time, like, a lot of people don't understand, you know, Facebook Lives are a really hard one. We're just getting to a scene. You know, I'm juggling 2 phones. I'm trying to get stuff on the camera to have for the later shows. I'm trying to get, you know, pictures and videos on my phone.
You're like by yourself, right?
I'm by
so
myself.
You're setting up a camera, you're this, you're that.
I'm setting up a camera.
Yeah.
I'm using my phone to take pictures and videos. I'm trying to talk to the, you know, officer or PIO, whoever's there to talk to get information. And then I'm trying to do a Facebook Live where I'm shooting it myself, trying to look for questions. And then sometimes you start saying some mean stuff and you're like, I'm just trying. You know, like, I'm a human. Like, I'm human too. And like, this hurt, like, it's hard to see too. But at the same time, you know, I think people just don't understand that it has changed. We don't have camera people. And, you know, I do everything myself. I edit. I do multiple stories a day. All of our reporters do. And it's not easy, but we all love it. That's why we're doing it. You know, it's a great challenge.
You know, that's a great perspective because I know sometimes you're going live and you got the earpiece and the camera's on you and they're like, you're live, Amy, you're live. And you're like, what? No, nobody gave it, you know, and of course you get that Facebook like, what's this girl doing? You know, and it's a good perspective for all of us. And that's part of, you know, the going first concept is that people go first to forgive or to think that there's a perspective I don't know, or to, like you say, when there's big loss, whether that's the fire or people rebuilding their lives for whatever it is, that you go first to reach out to them. And I know you make real personal connections with your stories. And
well, I try because you really never know. I think that's part of You Go First in my eyes, is you just never know what someone's gone through or what someone is currently going through. You know, and whether it's even to me, the people who are mean to me, I don't know what they've gone through. I don't know what they're currently going through. Maybe I'm just an easy target, you know, and I think that that's in general, you don't know. So you take that little bit of extra time to really just get to know someone and see, and maybe you still don't like them. That's okay, you know, but maybe you can have an understanding of why they are the way they are. Yeah.
Well, that's a good place to kind of leave this. And I know you're running out here and out here, you know, really celebrating with us that, you know, 30,000+ people have found the podcast in the first just week. And we are going to continue to launch them. We're blessed that you are a part of our Chico community, and that you know, that whoever makes those decisions at the station said, hey, go check out this little thing that's happened here that's having global impact. And we're doing that in so many ways here at Odyssey. You know, we're putting prosthetic hands on people in 80 countries, you know, 50,000 hands. And yesterday we did a big team building program for 1,400 people at Microsoft. And we are trying to make a global impact, but here we are. We love this town. We love the people in it. We love the food. And we love the community. I mean, it's just such a special place. So we're thankful you're here, Amy. We're thankful you stopped by at You Go First today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you, the lovely Miss Amy Lanski. All right. Well done. Well done. Awesome. My guest today was Miss Amy Lanski. You can find her at Amy Lanski, Lanski TV on Facebook. And yes, she was here to interview us for local news, and we pulled the switch, plot twist, and we interviewed her. So we're thankful to Amy for taking a little extra time with us and being on the You Go First podcast. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like us on the button below. Follow us by clicking the bell. You'll get all future episodes, as well as you can certainly find the podcast on the audio version everywhere where podcasts are found. So we're looking forward to the next episode. We've got a lot of really exciting guests coming up. Thanks for watching.